All right, guys. Today we are going to do an at-home workout. It's going to be a 15-minute AMRAP. It's going to be a variation. Let me just show you. Of 30 line hops, 20 glute bridges, 30 line hops, 20 broad jumps, another 20 line hops, and then a 20 front plank to push-up plank. This is a 15-minute AMRAP, meaning as many rounds and reps as possible. So I'm going to go through each one of these movements. Once I finish with my front plank to push-up plank, I'm going to start back over at these line hops and keep moving down the list until that 15 minutes is up. All right, but before we get to that workout, we're going to do some basic warm-ups. We're going to just start with nice 30 seconds of jumping jacks. Yeah, just like that. Nice jumping jacks. We're doing this warm-up just to make sure our muscles are nice and loose before we actually start the workout. Whew. All right, next we're going to go into what's called an active Samson stretch. So we're going to lunge back with one leg, arms go up into a stretch, then we're going to switch that lunge and go up into that active Samson. Active means I'm just continually moving back and forth, getting that stretch in, back and forth. If I were just to do a Samson stretch, I would hold this position for maybe 15 seconds and then go into the other side. We just want to keep that a little bit active, keep those legs moving. All right, next we're going to do some line hops. So here we have a line on the ground here. You probably can't see it. I have a line here. I'm just going to do jumping over the line. Just nice and easy. You don't have to go fast today. Just trying to warm up. All right. Next, let's go into what's called an active Spider-Man. So just like Spider-Man, he's going to have his hands in a ready position. We're going to lunge into that. You should feel a nice stretch here in the inner leg into the hamstring. And we'll switch sides. Yeah, nice stretch into that hamstring. Don't want to pull anything, especially as we are doing a lot of jumping today. Want to make sure that those legs are nice and loose. Oh, yeah. Do one more on the left side. Okay. All right. Next, we're actually going to do some glute bridges. This will be just nice and slow. We don't want to be going too fast right now. Like I said, it's just a warm-up. Just getting those legs warm. So here I'm going to lie on the ground. I want to keep my my posterior chain nice and tight. So I'm going to lift up off my legs and squeeze with that butt. Hold it and come back down. Squeeze and hold. This is just going to activate those glute muscles as well as those upper hamstrings and the lower back. That's what we just want to get warmed up as we are going to do some jumping today. All right. Let's go into a single leg. So I'm going to put my leg up just in a cross position and single leg, squeezing that butt again, going up into that nice tight position. That's where this is called an active stretch, where we're activating those muscles, holding it, as well as stretching them out while using our body weight to push that up. Okay, let's switch legs. Oh, yeah. Okay. So more than just stretching, stretching is also great, but to actually get those muscles nice and loose, we want to do an active stretch. So that's why we're doing these glute bridges. Last, we're going to go hold that glute bridge. We're going to do 4 small steps out, 4 small steps back, 4 small steps out, and 4 small steps back. Let's make sure that we keep everything active right here in the glute area. And then 4 more back in. Last, we're going to do what's called a shoulder tap. So we're going to hold a push-up plank position. If being in a full plank is going to be a little too difficult today, not a problem. Just go down to your knees. Keep everything tight in your core, and you're just holding that and going into shoulder taps. This is going to help activate those shoulder muscles as well as activating that core. That's what we want. We don't want a loose core like this. We want something nice and tight and active. So again, on your knees, not a problem. Just making sure you're tight, your core is tight throughout the whole warm-up. All right, next, because we do have some jumping today, let's do some stretching. This is not the active stretching I was talking about, but now that our muscles are a little more warm, let's go ahead. If you have an upright like I do, that's awesome. You can go to upright or a wall, works just great. You're just gonna hold that calf position, leaning in and out with that calf stretch. We don't want to just hold it. We want that muscle to feel what it's like to go active and then out, active and out. These are pieces of mobility. What we were doing was just mostly warm up, also some active stretching, but here we are actually doing our stretching so that we don't want to get injured. So everything we're going to do, we're always going to start with a warm-up, make sure our body's nice and ready for our workout. Next, we're going to do what's called a hamstring stretch, a kneeling hamstring stretch. So I'm going to come into a lunge position, come down with my leg in front of me. I'm going to lean forward. Now, if I can grab my foot, that's great. If not, you can hit anywhere along the leg. That's just going to feel a nice, it's going to cause a nice tightness to come into that hamstring. This will help loosen that hamstring out as we're doing some jumps and some other, well, just mostly jumps today. So we just want to make sure that everything in our calves and our hamstrings are nice and loose. We don't want anything to be pulled. So I'll lean right into that. You can always brace on the ground, brace on your leg. I like to brace a little bit more on my leg just so I can push down a little bit, get a nice tight stretch. All right, let's switch to that left leg right here. Ooh. That left leg's always the tighter of my 2 legs, so it's always a good thing for me to be stretching, making sure that everything's nice and loose as we get into our actual workout. All right, okay. Now that we've done some stretching and done a little bit of a warm-up, we're actually gonna focus on doing, on each one of those movements. So we have 3 times that we're gonna go through those line hops, 30 line hops, 3 different times. So a total of 90 line hops in that 15 minutes. So when I find my line right over here, what I want to focus on today is those feet. Our feet should be taking off on 2 feet and landing on 2 feet. We don't want to be doing this skipping motion. We want both feet to jump and then jump back over. So in our workout, when we finally get to there, what we're going to do is 30 line hops. So what 1 line hop looks like is just what it is, 1 line hop. I just jumped over the line once. Okay, to warm up, let's go ahead and do 10 line hops, focusing on keeping those feet taking off together and landing together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice job. Should have got your heart rate up just a little bit. We don't want to be going too high. So if you need to take a little bit of time, go and pause the video, catch your breath, and then we'll start talking about the glute bridges. This is probably the part of the actual workout that you're going to keep your heart rate down as we're just going to be laying on the ground and activating that posterior chain. So, like I said in our warm-up when we were doing those glute bridges, we want to make sure everything's tight as we push up into that glute bridge. So what I mean is, here I am just doing regular glute bridges, but nothing's tight. I'm actually pushing through my legs and moving my butt up off the ground, but nothing's tight. We want to make sure that everything is tight, so I'm going to make sure my feet are planted in front of me. I'm going to push up and make sure everything gets tight in that posterior chain. That's what we're looking for in our glute bridges. So let's go ahead and do 10 glute bridges together. All right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nice job. All right. Next we have our broad jump. Okay, just like the line hop, we don't want to be galloping across the room, back and forth, back and forth. So what one broad jump looks like is I'm just going to take off with both feet, jump as far as I can, and land, turn around, and broad jump back. So that was just 2 broad jumps. Let's go ahead and do 10 together, focusing on keeping those feet together on the jump and the landing. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nice job. Whew. No, that got my heart rate up just a little bit. Again, take a second, get that heart rate down. The actual workout hasn't begun, but just make sure you don't take too long, that your body gets cool. We want to keep that body state in a warm position, that makes sure our muscles aren't getting cold so we don't pull anything. Last, we have our front plank to our push-up plank. What that's going to look like, now I will do it in a full active position with my knees off the ground. Again, if keeping your knees off the ground is going to be too hard, let's go to your knees. If you have a rig, you can also set up some bands that help you push up off the ground, but that's not going to get the right core position that we want. So I prefer if you just keep your knees on the ground or keep your knees off the ground, whichever feels more comfortable, keeping a tight position. So what a front plank looks like is my forearms are down on the ground, like this. I'm going to keep my forearms down on the ground. Everything's nice and tight in my core area and my posterior chain. I want to make sure everything's nice and tight so that as I come up to a push-up plank and back down, I want to make sure everything's tight and I'm not going into this position, a pike position, or into arch back. Okay, so if I'm going on my knees, here's my front plank. I'm keeping everything tight in my core, coming up to a push-up plank, front plank, push-up plank. Let's go ahead and do 10 of your variation. I'm going to keep my knees off the ground. If you need to keep your knees on the ground, please go right ahead. Just make sure everything's tight. Activate those muscles in your core and your posterior chain. All right, we're going to start in the front plank. We're going to do 5 front plank to push-up plank together. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, nice job. Okay, if you feel warm, let's go ahead and take 3 minutes to get a drink. If you need to use the restroom, now's a good time. We're gonna have the next 15 minutes to be going through this workout. I'm gonna leave that time up to you. Just grab your phone, or if you have an iPad or your own timer at home. Again, this is an equipment-free workout that we want just to keep moving, something that should be doable for everybody, whether you're moving fast or slow. Again, here is the workout if you need it one more time. All right, so you have the next 15 minutes. You're going to start with 30 line hops, 20 glute bridges, 30 line hops, 20 broad jumps, 30 line hops, and 20 front plank to push-up plank. Then you'll start back over at line hops, then 20 glute bridges. An easy way to keep track of your score. I'm just going to erase the top here just for ease. Easy way to keep track of your score. So what I like to do, I'll draw a line. Once I get through this whole complex, finish with those 20 front plank to push-up plank, I'm just going to make a mark on my line. That way I know that I finished one round. If I finish it a second time, I'm going to make a second mark. Once I do it a third time, I'll make a third mark. Let's say I do 3 times going through that complex. 3 times, and then I make it through these line hops, glute bridges, and line hops, and I did 2 broad jumps. So 30, 50, 80, 2 would be my score. So I would write 3 plus 80, 2. 3 plus 82 would be my score for the day. All right, well, I'll let you get to it. Again, stay hydrated. Make sure that you do some stretching afterwards. A lot of those same mobility stretches with the calf stretch and the hamstring stretch that I did for you today. Great ones to do right after this workout. Take maybe 5-10 minutes and do a cool down workout. Cool down stretch afterwards. Make sure that nothing stays too tight afterwards as you are using these muscles. All right, go ahead and go kill it, guys.